Welcome back to Midpoint. I'm Rick Blackwell. The good professor is joining us for a second segment. I want to bring William Kresse in from Chicago with more on what's happening with Sony. They seem to be caving in really to every threat directed towards this business. Don't you agree that in some points they're really establishing a dangerous precedent, basically inviting further attacks?
That is always going to be the problem when you fold to a terrorist threat. I think because of the timing of this, where just days before the opening, the theaters themselves were being threatened, I can certainly understand why they decided not to run it in at least the theaters, the large chains that requested. So I can understand what they did, but yes, again, it goes to whenever you give in to the demands of a terrorist, you are inviting more terrorist threats and possibilities in the future. So it's a dangerous precedent, but I certainly understand their thinking.
You know, as we're learning from the investigation, the North Korean system, their internet system is kind of antiquated, but at some point you would think that Sony could just hire some security professionals to protect them from the hacks and really get to the bottom of this. What's preventing Sony from really coming out and finding out what happened?
Well, I think one of the things is it's really a numbers game worldwide, and not just looking at North Korea, but looking at hacking in general. We have tens of thousands of some of the best engineers and scientists working at this at all of our major banks, credit card companies, corporations, governments. However, on the other side, around the world, we have hundreds of thousands of people who are trained, who are good at coding, who have nothing better to do than for fun and profits to try and hack into systems around the world. And now governments have learned how to work into this as well. I'm saying that, like, with the year to come, with the faltering Russian economy due to oil, primarily due to the fracking going on in the United States, where we're producing so much oil, the Russian educational system that emphasized STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, they are going to have a lot of folks unemployed and underemployed with nothing better to do than to hack into the Western information technology systems. So in a sense, you could say that American fracking may lead to Russian hacking. It's a problem that I think we're going to really face in the coming year.
Well, William, with this problem increasing, then what can you say to the average American out there? What do they need to do to protect their identity online?
Sure. Well, the average person, as I say, this is a wake-up call to all of us, to governments to harden the networks that are there, to corporations to maybe move away from enterprise computer systems. But for individuals, we have to do some of the things that have been suggested in the past to change your passwords to something that's more difficult for someone to hack into. Use different passwords for your various accounts. Monitor your accounts daily, especially your bank account and your credit cards accounts. Go online, check, and look for any kind of unusual activity. Even the smallest amounts can be an indicator that something is going on. I encourage people to go out and even get something like this, a hard drive or flash disks, and download important documents and store them yourselves rather than having them out on the cloud. I like the cloud. It's very convenient, very efficient, but we know things can happen to computer systems. Best that you store this at your own home. Additionally, don't always rely on all of the systems out there, and be very careful with your emails. Be circumspect of what we say in emails.
Good advice.
Emails we're discovering. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
No, good advice, Professor Fra. We appreciate that. Hackers, they can use anonymous peer servers to hide their identities, but aren't U.S. cyber experts able to crack security protocols and really trace the hackers back to their computer's IP address?
We know where a lot of the hackers are. It's just that we can't do anything about it. We know, for example, that the recent involvement with the U.S. Postal Service computers came from the Chinese People's Liberation Army. We know the building and the floor that it came from. We know that there are towns in Eastern Europe, in Romania and other countries, where the hackers are the big men on campus, if you will, and they're protected by their local police forces.
All right, Professor Fra, you're there to help people, and we appreciate your information right here on Midpoint.